kind of running along today. I want everybody to know the amazing Carlton Lear with Hannah Jacobs, Timothy Reismus, and Gina Sforza are going to be coming on, and they'll have more time to kind of pour into you, because if you have not had a chance yet to hear from Carlton, I hope that he will share some of his story, because it is extremely inspiring. But you're going to have plenty of time for that. So I will kind of speed through some of these leaderboards, if that's okay with everybody. Top new writer for the week was Christina Drainer with $5,000 in premium. Top 3 producers for the week: Francisco Coronel, which is it's a really strong name. Racine Tugberg, it's another strong name. And Eric Gerr, $21,720 in a week. Results may vary. Tied for third place, Tubbs and Gardner. Satterfield in we're tied for, well, that doesn't look like a tied for second place to me. Tied for first place. There we go. Eric Gurr and Nicholas Redmond, both with 17 apps for the week. Congratulations, gang. James Johnson, number 1 Medicare sup writer for the week. Cindy Hernandez, top DI writer, disability income, with $2,000 in premium. Our top IUL producer for the week was Eric Keller with $17,940. Whew. Number 1 annuity for the week, Victoria Bockel, $303,000. Top DFL producer was Jeray Tompkins with $12,000 in premium. Way to go, man. Top recruits for the week, Ashley Tarr and Tyler Harris with 8 in the base for number 1. Cook and Grossman kicking butt too. In the direct, it continues to be Jacob Pogue with 39, 25 for Ziller, which is a heck of a week for the Wild Child, man. Way to go, Sean Shannon, as well. Of the 8 from Tyler and Ashley, 6 of those were licensed. 26 of those in Pogue's hierarchy were licensed. New writers, Sarah Reineke, Ryan Michelle Miller, and Ryan Federico, all tied for 2 in the base. Jacob Pogue with 7 new writers. Chris Cook and Scott Mank both with 6. Jamie Susie, number 1 on the agency owner board with top SNAs 2. Way to go. This is the number you should be tracking right here. Jacob Pogue also at 3. So let's just recap, shall we? Jacob Pogue, Jacob Pogue, Jacob Pogue, and Jacob Pogue. I'm starting to see a trend, if you will. And the reason I go back, because this is the top of the funnel. Boop, 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 boop. That's the bottom of the funnel. Number 1 all the way around. All the SNAs for the week: Culbertson, O'Lear, Encarnacion, Bardo, Gabor, Almeria, Hyatt, Allen, Hedinger, Liebig Williams, Tolman, Hoovera, Harrington, Bacon, and more. Congratulations, SNAs.
SNAs. And all of you leaders out there using that slingshot bonus like it should be used, we're watching you. We're watching these numbers. We're watching the SNAs. Like, you've integrated that bonus well into your system, and you're talking about it enough. You're keeping it in front of new people enough. So, because that bonus is meant, again, to kind of springboard people into this level of achievement here with the SNA. So good work.
Yeah, really good work, everybody. Hit those numbers. Keep hitting them. Top key leader for the week was Karen Earhart. Jeffrey Miller, the top AO with almost 70 grand. Top agency director, Larry and Ann Griffin with 139,302. Spivey, will you make a request in from me specifically to start putting our commas back in? It really kind of throws me off a little bit.
It's just that one line too. I don't know what that
For some reason, it's just the agency directors. They don't feel like the agency directors deserve a
comma.
comma.
Guys don't get commas.
I guess not. Eileen Balmer with $200,000 in premium because she's rad. Top MVP of the week, Chris Cook, is killing it. Good God, man.
Smoking it, Chris.
Smoking it, Cook. Your people are smoking it too. George and Janet Matthews, Marlon Faulkner, all y'all are killing it. Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell, $228,733. You say he's nipping at their heels, though, don't you? Carl Miller, the top executive vice president, with $170,000 in production. Lynn Watkins, almost $700,000 in premium.
Nice.
Just outdid Jacob Pogue a little bit there. Easy Eddie Pritchett with $983,400. And the number 1 managing partner was Mr. Marshall Whalen at MrMarshallWhalen.com. $1,035,055. That's a heck of a week. Well done.
You think Edward and Marshall are tired of battling out for the last couple of years?
I know.
Who's in third spot? Can we get another
I think it's
one?
Linwood.
Come on, Linwood.
Linwood's at 700,000.
Not up to $1 million a month. Let's start getting in there.
Yep.
In Edwards and Marshall here.
I see Brad Smith. He's coming up. Kevin Purdy.
Yeah, we got a few in the hunt there.
I like it. Top direct is Mr. Jacob Pogue with $207,000. Top base shop is Edward Pritchett, $50,000, $49,181, just a little above Derek Brock. And current point totals for the last month. Okay, this was for December because we got to get all the production in, the net place production. This is the points that were assigned on your left here for December. This is the total points for the first 2 months of the contest so far. 21 points from Jeremy Whitaker, who's in first place. Christy Stadola, Scott Forehand, you see it there, okay? We're going to dig in more on this next week in case there's any confusion. Okay, this is on the corporate side with Alicia Hudson winning for the month. We got the top points for the month, but Glee Israel is still in first place overall for the first 2 months of the contest. Top directs, top point getter for the month was George and Janet Matthews. That's 1T for those counting at home. And can we say that's 2 T's now? George and Janet Matthews with 19 points. This is a growth factor that we're factoring in here. Okay. Remember, this is just our contest. Each direct is running the same contest because we're all going to the same resort sometime in November, I believe that is.
I think so, yep.
Told me that.
The year.
Good bonuses for December. Way to round out the year. Marshall Whalen with $139,229 bonus. These are equity partners. So in order to become an equity partner, you have to first become a direct, then you have to break out a direct. Marshall has 3 of those. Edward Pritchett is working on 3 of those. Kevin Purdy has 3 of those. Edward Pritchett, I think, has 2 and is getting ready to pop a 3rd soon, I think is what I'm hearing. So look at those bonuses. If there's ever been a time to say results may vary, this is bonuses. This is on results. Okay. Jordan Janet Matthews with the $2,000, almost $3,000 capital bonus. Jeremy Whitaker with the top producer's bonus, $2,860. Equity bonus this month was $766,000. Capital bonus was another $31,368, 56 grand for the producers, for a total bonus payout the month of December, $854,465, which takes us over the $10 million mark for the year of 2021. Let's hear it, everybody.
10 million. Broke the 10 million world.
We broke the 10 million mark.
That's awesome.
I love it. Oh, this is big.
Yes.
They made this announcement last week. Emails went out to everyone, and it was like the tree fell in the forest and nobody was around to hear it. So we weren't even sure if the damn thing actually fell down. This tree has fallen. QLT, as of last Wednesday, is running commissions daily as opposed to weekly. You guys are killing it with quality level term. Killing it.
Yep.
6. What was our number last week in placed just on that product? I think it's moved into third place now.
Yeah.
With about $600,000 a week of net placed premium.
Yeah, we were way ahead of where we were even projecting with them.
Yes, way ahead. And that's just getting started. Oh man, look at this. Statewide standing lead orders. Statewide, calling all agents that would like to work more leads, calling all agents that would like to make a bigger impact, calling all managers that would like to be part of the change. Look at this. How would you be using this information, Casey? There's 122 leads in the state of Texas that we can turn on when we have a standing lead order. There's another 294 in Florida. How many people do we hear in Texas like, well, I can't get leads? Well, no, you can't get leads if you're wanting to work in Dallas or Houston, and you can get leads if you're willing to drive all over the place. But if you will lean into this virtual selling, you could get 322 leads a week as an agency owner.
Yep.
That's not counting anything digital. That's just counting the direct mail leads. Okay.
Right.
You have to be in Texas, Casey, to work these leads.
No, you do not.
Nope. Can you move to Hawaii and
Yes.
work Texas leads? Yes. Can
Yes,
you move to Switzerland if you want to and work Texas leads?
I think you can.
Might take some adjustment with the time change aspect,
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure you can work from anywhere in the world now.
as long as you have an internet signal.
And yeah, right. If you're writing a policy in Switzerland on the phone to someone in Texas, that's still cool, right?
Absolutely. As long as you are licensed in good order and you have a Texas license.
Yeah. So
now, if you become a full-time resident of Switzerland, I don't know what the rules are on that. Man, to go forth back on the phone to figure that out. But if you're just on vacation, it's good. Look at these leads, though, guys. In North Carolina, there's 182. Griff Martin, are you seeing this? Georgia.
Got to work on that demand. You know, when you're talking to your agents, your up and coming producers, you got to help them understand that sometimes it's just that you're just not investing quite enough. You know, like if you got someone that's putting in the work and they're booking appointments and they've learned how to book 10, 12 appointments on a healthy, investment of leads, like meaning it's not too, like it didn't cost them $1,000 to get 12 appointments. Like if you got someone in that world that has figured out how to make the numbers work the way the averages do. Like, let's say they're spending $350 to get 12 appointments. I would encourage them to spend another $350 to invest another $350 and get 24, because the math will work out big time in their favor. Just do the math for them. Show them the math, and then subtract the extra $350 that they spent. You know, it's just, you just sometimes need to lean in a little bit more because there's so many fixed costs that stay fixed, right? And so because all of those costs are fixed, that's your opportunity to just dump a little bit more on the one thing that's not necessarily fixed, which is your lead investment. But the return is so massive because it's like, again, all of the other things are fixed. So sometimes it's just about teaching people how and where to invest a little bit more in leads, and make sure you're talking about that with your team. Brandon, when you and I got really good at recruiting, and where people always ask, how did y'all get so good at wearing two hats? You know, how did y'all recruit so well while you were selling? Well, it's because we weren't cheaping out on leads. The moment we could get a little bit more skin in the game when it came to leads, we did. So instead of working 12 leads a week, we upped it to 15, 16, 17 leads a week, plus some bonus leads. And we just backed ourselves into a corner with a lot of activity from those leads. It allowed us to book a lot of appointments. The cool thing is all of you know how that feels. A lot of you do. If you don't, you need to. You need to know what it feels like to have to run 15, 20 appointments in a week, because you start to get in this zone. You start to get the right posture where you're not thinking about needing to make the sale. Now you're actually thinking about just helping people. And man, when you get that right posture, it'll start to help your close ratios. It'll start to help your placement rate. It'll start to help everything around you. So, but it comes from the right amount of leads. Yep.
Really well said. And there was a great question in the chat that I want to address, because it was a self-professed new agent. And the person said, why does this type of lead, I think there's specific questions, why does a digital lead work a little differently or have a different reaction than, say, a direct mail lead? And I think it's a great point to remind people that as a builder, one of the first things you should do when you're training agents is make sure they see the lead tear sheets. The simple answer to that question is, if you want to be successful working a digital lead, you have to work it differently than you work a direct mail lead, because it was created differently, right? Now, if you want to know the best ways of doing that, that's why we wanted to create transparency around all of our lead types, and wanted to put all the information out there in the tear sheets. Get on HQ, look it up. What is the best way to work a digital lead? One, I'll tell you, you need to work it as quickly as possible. If you can work it the second you get it, that's going to give you a much better response than if you wait even 30 minutes, much less 2 or 3 days. That's not as important with a direct mail lead, though it is still pretty important. How quickly can you work it? Okay, so speed or sales velocity is one of the most important things. As we continue to grow and as we continue to evolve and change, some of you are going to have a major change in your habits, your buying habits, but also your selling habits. How quickly are you willing to work certain leads? Well, if you want them to have a 40, a 50, a 60% close ratio, try calling them immediately. Also, learn, what are the best things that I should say? How do I respond to this? When somebody answers the phone, what do I say? Right? All of that is on the tear sheet. So you can see what the average person do based on our numbers. And then you can see what the top 10%, or maybe even this top 5%, do to get the results that they're getting. Study that stuff. Not only should you study it, you should make sure that as you're bringing in new agents, that they know where that stuff is, that they know how to study it. Not all leads, every lead doesn't work the same. I was going to say not all leads work the same. I think that may be the same thing, but it didn't feel right coming out. Every lead doesn't work the same. You have to work them differently. And so it's important that you always have that mindset shift of like, if something's not working for you, it's not because it's not working, it's because you're not working it correctly. Yeah. And how you know how to work it correctly is by studying and learning from the people that have learned how to work it correctly. That feels like we need one of those the more you know parts on it, you know? Okay.
So
we should incorporate some like old school radio sounds in our broadcasting.
We really should.
Oh, we got a good one.
Yes, we
now,
do.
I'm a little biased because I think Meredith is amazing. I think she has so much to offer when it comes to anything Quility related, but certainly on the Connect side. And we're going to be hearing from her a lot on the virtual conference. But on this book review, January 27th, 3:00, I have not dug into Atlas of the Heart yet. I've read or listened to I think most of Brene Brown's or all of her other work, including a ton of podcasts. Absolutely love her. But Casey,
yep.
should they be carving out time in their busy schedules to set aside an hour each week or month for this book review?
Absolutely. And I think, us guys, should be men as well. That's what, Connect, I think really is in a lot of ways. It's like, how do we start to understand more about each other? And if, I know sometimes like, I think it's just easy to, the male world, maybe we kind of just, we don't understand them. So
they're from Venus or Mars or whatever, right?
Yeah. And so is that a healthy way to kind of go through this? I don't know that it is, and so I think that the more we learn about things, about women and Connect, I think that, the more we understand, and that's where growth happens. And so, this is not just something for the females out there, for the women in the company. I think this is also something that all of us should be looking at.
100% agree. Meredith complimented me this morning when we were in a meeting, you and I.
That was very nice of her.
She said that I did something really good this weekend, and it was from the Brene Brown book that I haven't even read yet, but it's because Meredith talked to me about it, and then I did it. So this is, everybody that's out there listening, this is like a good relationship tip of the week. So we're going into the weekend, and everybody has their different set of expectations about what they want to accomplish for the weekend, right? Casey, you may want to go on a bike ride, or you may want to go on a long hike, or you may want to go on whatever activity is that you love. And Sarah may want to go to a workout and maybe go do all these things, but there are obviously things that you have to do together. Maybe there's other plans in place. So how can you be proactive to make sure that everybody gets what they want out of a situation? It's so much like kind of bringing someone in from a recruiting perspective with the exact right expectation that it's a great tip for relationships. So I said, I would really like to get a long hike in, and I can't remember what else I said. Maybe I'd like to watch some NFL football. She says, that's great. I would really like to do this and this. I say, that's great. We got 3 kids, and we also need to do these things, right? It was that simple.
Yeah.
Name it, set the right expectation, agree to it, and then you get to go do it.
Yep.
It's just about intentionality, no?
I love that.
All right.
It's going to be a good one. Atlas of the Heart.
Atlas of the Heart. I'm down. All right. Upcoming events. We got the QRX training. You know what? Is Ethan on? We should talk about this. Vice President, of Events and Activation, Ethan Drum. Quility Prescription.
What's happening?
Quility RX. How's it going? What are we doing to continue to get better at making an impact with our clients. Give us an update.
Yeah, so we have a strong TPA, third party administrator, who partners with us to negotiate all of our pharmacy relationships. And with 30,000 pharmacies, that's quite a bit to negotiate. And so we had that call with them just to review how the pharmacies are feeling, how the big brands. And the first thing they said to us is, we are astounded with how good of a job your agents are doing at saving people money on a per prescription basis. They said it's been a long time since we've seen people actually save over $500. We have several prescriptions where people have saved $1,700 on a single prescription, $1,100, $500, $300. Well, our agents are changing people's lives by doing this, because they're putting cash back in their pocket to live a better life, be it DFL, be it other policies. You're setting yourself up. So first, big applause to our agents, because back to our TPA conversation, the only way you see these type of results, it's meaning that we're doing the right things. It's meaning that we're not using this tool as a get rich quick commission scheme. Instead, we're using this tool to help our clients. And that's the main goal. While over the life of your time at Symmetry, if you do what we're telling you to do with QRX, you can make a lot of money. You could make a whole lot more money on your actual business, because you're helping people. You're actually giving them the tool to help change their life. So that was the big thing that come out of it. Tomorrow's call that we're going to have, our webinar, we've got a ton of great announcements that our team's been doing. Again, what we're building over here at Quility is a big team on every level to support all of our products that go to our agents. So we have a lot of big updates coming out of support. We got a lot more marketing updates. We got some good things we're going to be putting in your hands. One of those things I'm most excited about is every week we're going to upload a one-sheeter into HQ that you can have in your hand that shows the top 10 drugs in America on GoodRx and how we're smoking them on QuilityRx. Those are things you need to know about, things you need to have. So tomorrow, please be on that call. We're going to walk through a demo again of how it works, and we're going to really dive in to help you understand how prescription drugs work, how the commissions come in. But then the most important thing you can take away from this tool is you're giving the ability to save someone $500, $1,000 to help them live a better life. And that's what we're about. So I think that's what I wanted to hone in on, Brendan and Casey. And I'm super excited for this call tomorrow. Can't wait to see you all.
Good stuff, man. Yep, we're going to keep on talking about it. And I like how you said we're not using it as a get rich quick scheme. That would be like the slowest get rich quick ever. We're doing it as a make a big impact quickly on many, many, many people. So thanks, Ethan. We got our FE call. What is that, tomorrow? We've got Monday's call. I love this title, Questions That Will Change Your Life. What do you think about that?
Love that.
It's going to be good.
And I love our feed on when we talk about QuilityRx lights up with examples. Sydney Lee, I don't know if you guys see that. Help my neighbor who is stay-at-home mom, type 1 diabetic, save over $800 a month on her diabetic medications. She's so happy.
Lord, are you kidding
What a blessing
me?
it is to help people like that. Like $800 a month is
$800 a month.
So many people,
Sydney Lee, that's got to be a record.
Back in the mortgage crisis, I remember we were looking at stats, and we use these stats a lot when we were talking about, the products that we sell. But can you remember the stat? It was like, I can't remember how many of the foreclosures would have been prevented with just an additional $500 a month of income or savings.
I don't know the exact number, so I won't spew out nonsense, but it was a significantly big number. Yeah. And the point being, that was why things like disability policies, critical illness policies are so important. But now you have an opportunity to go out and save someone $800 a month. That's insane. And look at this last thing we got on the ticket down here too. Tuesday, February 1st, DFL Living, hosted by Resma. It's starting to heat up, and there are so many people out there that need this product, including agents that are listening in. So I would advise, I would not advise every agent to want to start selling this product. I would advise every agent to take a look at it to see if they need this product. And if you're not ready to sell it, I would advise you to find someone upline, sideline, whatever, that you can, serve some clients up to. Says, hey, I've asked a few questions. This person needs a call. Give them a buzz. And with that, Casey, we got the big daddy.
Yes. Guys, y'all need to buckle up for this one. We are, when we had to kind of make the COVID pivot again with conference and reschedule our conference to Denver in the summer, one of the big questions was, okay, we were getting ready to do a bunch of significant rollouts. Don't worry, not a ton of rollouts that are going to create more, different types of work or things that you guys have to learn. We understand that we had to cram a lot in over the last couple of years to kind of get our foundation where it needs to be. But we did have the question, are we going to hold these rollouts for the most part, or are we going to go ahead and do some of these rollouts that we really intended to do in Denver with you guys? And we're just going to go ahead and roll them out. So this is a big conference, guys. This is a big event. The summit it's going to set us up for Denver in August, but you are going to want to get as many people onto this summit as you possibly can. I think we have an opportunity to get in front of 10, 15, 20,000 people or more, because this is virtual and it's free. So when this link is ready, it's going to be open today. Check your email this afternoon for the link to register. We'll be tracking it, seeing what the attendance looks like, but hang on tight, guys. This is going to be a very historic event for our company. And it's going to be shot in a very similar way as we did last year's event with the virtual summit from the canceled conference that we had. Only this one is going to be probably a few hours. I don't know if there's times on this, Brandon, yet on the next slide. No.
Nope.
It might be on the registration. I think when
Yep.
you're going to see it.
We'll update everybody for sure.
Yeah.
We got a month. It'll be a month before it's rolling. Not quite 3 weeks.
Yep.
But it will be more of an afternoon situation.
Not 2 full days. We're gonna knock it out in about three hours. So this is going to be a really cool event. We think if it's safe in your area and you want to do some little watch parties in smaller groups, we think that's abide by the state local laws and stuff around and regulations around COVID. But we'd encourage you guys to really kind of make this a team event as much as possible, and obviously encourage everyone to jump on. So we're excited about it. That's what we're working on full blown behind the scenes right now.
Yep. Stop share. There we go. Wait, where's my stop share? There it is. Hit the wrong stop video. There we go. I've only been doing this for like 2 years. Give me a break. I know I should know better. Carlton Lear, paging Carlton Lear. You have an important telephone call.
I'm not on any calls during the national call, so I'm following the 4 keys and 4 cornerstones.
I know you. I know you better than that.
Yeah, buddy.
You hit any hole-in-ones lately?
No, but I have had a double eagle, hit a 5-wood, about 281 yards in a par 5. And I hit it and I couldn't find it. So I went back 282 yards to hit it again. And on the green, which was probably even better shot than the first one. And I found my ball in the hole for a double eagle 2 on a par 5.
That's awesome, man.
That's crazy, man.
We'll
we'll let that second shot be a provisional, so you can count that first one. Carlton, are you ready to kind of talk a little bit about your background, your past? I think there's a lot of people that may not know your story. I think what is so inspirational about your story, and I'll let you tell it, is that you have had more reasons, more, I guess, opportunities to not make this work and to not create something special for yourself and for this life than certainly most, if not everyone else, probably listening in. Yet you never quit. You had this grit, you had this toughness, you had this resiliency about you that is hard to even kind of put into words, because nobody's had the experiences that you've had, at least nobody that we've had an opportunity to talk to as much. It gets cold in Chicago, doesn't it, man? For those that don't know, Carlton, how long did you live how long were you homeless, having to live in your car?
93 days.
93 days. And what year would this have been? What time frame was that?
This was 2000. This is 2005, 2006, fourth quarter of 5 and the first quarter of 2006.
Literally the worst time to have to live somewhere like that. And, many nights where the temperature is plummeting, probably even below zero, certainly wind chill. You've had every reason to have every excuse on why you couldn't succeed in this life. Can you point to anything, Carlton, specifically that allowed you to have this kind of mental toughness that allowed you to kind of push through? Was it things that you were reading? Was it things that you were doing? Was it decisions that you were making for yourself? Was it mentors that you had along the way? What was it, or what combination of things was it that allowed you to be so tough and so gritty, while others may quit when they get hung up on once? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was out of dysfunction, not out of principle. It's like a 1 degree difference. Like for me, it was I was running away from problems to go to work to make money when I became a caddy at 12 and 13 years old. So I'd walk at 4 o'clock in the morning or 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning to get to the country club at 4:30, 5 o'clock, so I could be first in line. That's a dysfunction at 12 and 13 years old, but it accidentally developed a work ethic, but it was out of dysfunction. And so I learned watching that nobody making really money in my family, and us living in weird, bizarre situations. And so I ran away from it to learn how to make money. But I didn't learn how to manage it. That's another dysfunction. So a lot of it was that. But what got me through it really is when you started the call about the grit and stuff like that. I don't think I really had all of that because a lot of it was just dysfunctional. I think the principles, what you guys are talking about in the both calls here today is, man, and Pogue was talking about, is a culture of mentorship of people around you. They didn't really talk about it. They were just about it. And you just feel that there was a strength that you felt from the inside. There was something on the inside of Linwood Watkins I didn't know about. He was just quiet. There was something about, as he said, oh, I'm just a fat country boy from the mountains of North Carolina. I'm like, ah, ha, ha, ha. And then after a while you're around him, you're like, okay, there's a lot more to this guy. There's a lot. Wait a minute. Wait, what are you not telling me? What's going on? And so it became the principle of me then on purpose, going from accidental dysfunction to intentionality of principle, going, I'm going to hang around this guy. A lot of people don't know this. During my stage when I joined Symmetry, I was sleeping under Linwood Watkins' desk in his office for 2 weeks. And it was in the mountains of Swananoa. And I was in his office. I went to Walmart and got one of those blanket covers for your mattress, the little padded ones, and I was under his desk, and he would have his staff walk in the morning at 7:30, and I would get up, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Just got here. And after 2 weeks, you're like, bro, we know you're sleeping in Lynn's office. You left them, you didn't fix your bed. But I was around Linwood. By me doing that, I learned how he talked to agents. I learned how he was recruiting, but there was so much dysfunction still there. But that's how it all really started to change for me. And man, it's been amazing. And now I've been working with Keyshawn, and that's also because of Lynn too. It's so emotional because I joined Keyshawn's team last year, November 20th, because of Lynn. This is what Lynn said to me. He goes, I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you, man. You've been my friend. We're close. I'm here for you. And let's get Keyshawn on the line. But there's some things you're going to have to upgrade now to principle from dysfunction at this point in your life. And we got together on a call. Keyshawn was breaking down certain things. And over this whole run of 3 riders doing 15,000 of team volume last March and April, to 22 doing 180,000 6 months later, it was Keyshawn and Lynn working together. It was by principle. So that they are what's really did it for me was that proper culture of symmetry. They choose Brandon, my name over numbers of agents they have. They choose my reason of why I was doing it over the results of what I was trying to get. They were focused more on my purpose than my next promotion. And they proved to me that you choose fact over fiction. In other words, promoting the struggle and vulnerability is strength. It's not weakness. Use it. And that's why we never had any issue with this FTC stuff. We're like, we're fine. promote that. We promote the struggle. It's stronger because that's what 99% of us go through, and they're just scared to be open. But I saw this strength, and I borrowed strength from Lynn and Kishan, and that's where I'm at.
It's good stuff. Really excited to have you on, Carlton. We'll go back and listen. Casey and I've got to jump on a 2:00 call. I'm already a little bit late too, but who have you got with you today?
Yeah, man. First of all, my name is Carlton Lear, direct to KJ. I say KJ is Kishan and Johanna Monteith. I would say Kishana or Joshan, but it's kind of ghetto. That sounds worse in Chicago. But KJ, Kishan, Johanna Monteith, Austin, Texas. Today we got some good people on the call. I got my homies on the call today. Hannah Jacobs out of Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Timothy Rice was from the cornfields of Iowa. And Gina Sforza from the Sforza motor team, Italian motor team, out of Gig Harbor, Washington, Seattle, Washington. So we got a good call today for you folks today.
Nice. Appreciate you guys. I've got to jump on something that's critical for our filming of virtual conference next week, but I'll come back and listen. Carlton, always a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited for everybody that gets to hear a little bit of your story and see the impact that you're making on some really cool folks, man. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Always an honor to be on the call here in conference call land. Welcome to Symmetry's Wednesday call. My name is Carlton Lear, again, Director Kishan and Johanna Monteith. Today's topic is how on earth are we going to train all these people? Like for those who are building, how to effectively harness your energy while building. The first thing I think of when we talk about this topic first is culture. And if something to write down, I would write this down. People don't get burned out because of overwork. We only get burned out because of meaningless work. I think it's a big thing. It's because we're not getting traction. Our energy starts to drop. We're trying to train every single person. I've done it in the past before. I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it for about 2 years. I just don't train at all. I take myself completely out of it and I feel better. Growth happens even easier. But we get burned out because of meaningless work. We're not getting traction. And the reason we're not is because you need a healthy culture. Proper culture creates proper energy. And so a great culture is not about lip service, what we say. Great culture is more about how we feel or how we make people feel when they walk in the doors of Symmetry. Giving people an environment to thrive in, feel like they've been seen, they've been heard, maybe they've been understood. And so I think that's a big thing. So there's 4 things I would write down for you as we get this call started for you. There's 4 things I think Symmetry promotes that creates healthy energy in a proper culture that they don't talk about. Number 1, I kind of went over these 4 things, but I'll go over with you again. They put names over numbers. I think people, they just put names over numbers. They care about who you are rather than what you're doing. And how many people they got in their team. Names over numbers. Number 2, as I was saying earlier, they choose people's reasons over their results. Yeah, you may be a great 10, 15, 20, 30,000 hour, 40,000, 80,000 hour producer. Good for you. But you get that way from your results because Symmetry cares about the reasons of why you're doing it. Number 3, they put your purpose and your passions over your promotion. Even if you get promoted, they're excited for you. They'll celebrate it with you. But the reality is overall, they care more about your purpose because that's the engine. And number 4, they choose facts over fiction. They know that they promote a blend of the struggle as well as the successes. A lot of people just like to paint a picture about how great things are. But it's not about how great things are, it's how great you become when you're going through the struggle. So promoting the struggle is just as important as anything else. But speaking of this, the first person we're going to bring up here is my homeboy, Timothy Reisman, out of the cornfields of Iowa, even though it's negative 20 degrees. One cool thing about Timothy is he made a choice to leave Nashville, Tennessee, to move right next to Kishan Monteith in Iowa, because he wanted to catch the fire. And I did that same thing with Lynn. I got around Lynn. Lynn told me to go to Texas. So I went to Texas. Timothy left Nashville and he went to Kishan Monteith he's there for a season. He's going to be watching Kishan, everything he's doing. And Timothy, you out there, broham?
I'm out here live from the fields of Iowa.
All right, brother. The topic is how are we going to train all these people, man? How to effectively harness your energy while building your company. Let you take it away. Introduce yourself, and I'll let you run with your point, brother.
Yeah, so Timothy Rice-Miss. I'm direct to Queen, Holly Jacobs, David Jacobs, Carlton Lear, Kishan Monteith. And how to effectively harness energy. And what I'm talking about is a foundation of that, a foundation of how, and it is discipline. right? Discipline, wah, wah, wah. It's not the most fun topic to think about because we're like, oh yeah, like, we all get it, right? We need to be more disciplined in order to achieve our goals, have more energy, yada yada yada. But I'm just going to talk about some stuff that I've really primarily learned from Carlton over the last 6 months while working with him really consistently to figure it out, right? To figure it all out. And when it comes to discipline, one thing that's a mindset shift is really that it's not about putting so much pressure on yourself, but it's realizing that discipline creates the conditions for consistent inspiration, right? Just like what Brandon, Casey, Jacob, they're just talking on the builders call about leaving your people leaving the conversations you have with them feeling better about themselves, feeling inspired, ready to go make another dial, another appointment. The way you do that is through discipline. And then, so what is discipline? Discipline is doing the things that you know you need to do, right? Without being told to do it, and not doing the things that you don't need to do. So how do I know what I need to do, what I don't? It's really what's draining my energy and what's giving me energy. And we all have a threshold of energy that we're going to use up every day, right? But if we find a way to consistently fill our cup up, fill ourselves with energy so we can accomplish those tasks, it comes down to a routine. And so it's routine plus grace equals discipline, right? Routine plus grace equals discipline. This is one of the biggest things I picked up from Carlton. And routine without grace is punishment. And it's another word for grace would be self-acceptance, right? Because it's like, if I don't love myself in my broken stage, how can I love myself enough to get out of the broken stage? And so this is sometimes a broken stage is a season, sometimes it's months, years, sometimes it's just a day, right? So it's like, if I'm developing discipline, I'm creating my routine, and then I wake up late, and then I'm like, oh, well, now I'm pissed at myself because I woke up late and I punish myself. That's not going to create more energy for myself. It's always an imperfect process, but the more we stay consistent with it, the better that we get at it, right? If you had a 1% increase in what you're doing every day, by the end of the year, you're 37 times better at that, right? 37 times. And so that perspective allows you to not should all over yourself. That's what my mom says, right? It's not about what you should be doing. It's about what you need to do in order to accomplish your goals. And it's that you're on the right path. It's not about doing it perfectly every day, but being really honest with yourself and making sure that you're on the right path towards harnessing your energy, towards developing discipline. It's always an evolving process. And that really, I think, creates the best example, because it's the example that we give to others in our leadership is not how to be a perfect person. It's about how to be a person that is developing, right? How to be a person that prioritizes growth. And so discipline is really, it's an investment. It's an investment into yourself that allows you to make other investments. And I mean, I know that there's some other ways that we can invest to harness energy. I know Gina and Hannah are about to talk about some of them. And Hannah, thank you for not interrupting me in that little spiel about discipline. She's 1 week into Hard 75. Now she's the resident expert on discipline.
You're so welcome. I learned a lot from you, Timothy.
But yeah, I mean, it comes down to it's an investment, just like the other investments that we have, Carlton.
Exactly. And I think the cool thing about it, and as you hear and Timothy go over his recap with you folks about discipline, is doing the things you know that you should be doing without being told to do it. That is the hardest thing. But here's something even harder, is stop doing the things you know you shouldn't be doing without being told to stop doing it. That's just as equally as hard, and it creates a lot of stress. And as Brian Delaney says, sometimes you gotta be the enemy of your present self so you can actually live for the future you. And so it's just one of those situations where discipline's a hard thing, but people are making choices right now. There's an old saying that says, if you do today what others don't, you can have tomorrow what others won't. And that's a discipline thing you're going to have to do. Timothy didn't like leaving Nashville, but he moved from Nashville to the cornfields of Iowa. Sorry, Kashan. But he's there for Kashan for a reason, because he's disciplined himself to get around the fire. He can make sure that Kashan's going to make some micro adjustments for him. So good there. Appreciate you, Broham. Let's move on to my homie, Gina Sforza from the Sforza Italian Motor Team out of Monte Carlo, Monaco. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we're in Gig Harbor, Washington, where it's negative degrees outside. There's snow on the ground, and I think you're moving to Nashville, so you're excited. So you're working on your discipline too, of moving to Nashville to get around the fire yourself. You're leaving across the country, and what do you got for us, Gina, about how to harness some energy? What are some things we can invest in to harness some energy while we're training these people?
Well, like I said, I'm Gina Sforza out of Gig Harbor, Washington, direct to you, Carlton Lear, in the Kashan Monteith, Lynn Watkins hierarchy, and definitely really excited to be here today. So investing in your people properly. So what is that? Investing in your people properly. There's two ways to properly invest in your people. One is time, quality over quantity. Quality, not quantity. Give them your heart before you give them your hand. Now, what does that mean? Let me just share a little bit about, about my why I'm here. When I grew up, my family didn't have anything. We were always struggling, and as a kid, I did everything I could to make money, and I was always successful, but just wasn't enough, and got out of wanted to get out of the house early and just be my own person and be successful. And what brought me here, just nothing was ever enough. So what brought me to Symmetry was that I wanted to build a business and have financial freedom so I could help my family. In addition to my brother, who is 3 years older than me, and he works extremely hard and continues to struggle. So my why is to build a legacy for them. And, so we have to be able to show others, show other people that we really care about them by knowing their why and their story and what they want to achieve. Their why is your why. So, Hannah, let me ask you, what does that mean to you when I say that?
Yeah, Hannah, direct to Holly Jacobs, my older sister. Gina, I think whenever you say their why is your why, it's kind of like, I think about whenever I started in July, and my only why was I just wanted to make money, and that was pretty much it. And I think a lot of new agents, that's kind of their why. Starting out, they don't really know exactly why they're here and what their purpose is in it. And so that's why we need leaders to help develop and ask the right questions and invest in getting to know them and help them find their why.
Okay, great, thank you. And the second part of that is money. And when is the proper time to invest in our people? Incentives and promotions. We give incentives and promotions for people who move their feet. Example, investing in an owner's pack and compensating those maybe with the conference ticket for people who are doing the work and are moving their feet. Another example, investing in leads. People that do the massive action constant correction and are doing what they're supposed to do, following the system and achieving their goals, we're going to be there to help them. Again, those that are moving their feet. Investing in the Quality cohort system for those who are moving their feet. So if people are following the system, doing massive action constant correction, they're going to get they're going to get some investment support on their end from us, because investing into recruits takes pressure off of people and on the process. Now, another thing, expense versus investment. How do we know if people are an expense or an investment? Again, for those who are moving their feet, people who are following the system. So if you are doing what you're supposed to do, then we will be there to help you. And that's all there is to it. I mean, we just I'll invest whatever I can in people that are showing initiative and that are showing up and are doing what they need to do. So.
Yeah, Gene, I think it's a good point for those who are out in conference call land is how to properly invest into your people. You can do it with money, obviously, but only after people who move their feet. And she's right. What type of people are expensive and what type of people are in investments? You really don't know early until they move their feet. People give assignments and you watch their feet, not their words. And that's the thing. And so, yeah, you can invest, you can save some energy by investing. Like I've had landscapers in the past. I invest in landscapers. Why? Because it saves me energy from actually physically going out there, pulling the weeds myself and mowing the lawn every 2 weeks. That's a big thing. I pay for house cleaners. Why? It saves me time, but it creates also more time and energy for you to parlay it into something else to create another asset that can grow. So I think that's a big thing. So be careful. Also in conference call land for you folks, I would think this, since all of us are agents, if you want your growing, I don't say uplines, but if you want your agent mentors, your growing agent partners to really invest in you, you have got to move your feet, but you have to move your feet towards the system. I hear some agencies talking, we do it in ours. We talk about doing what you're supposed to do bonuses. Just do what you're supposed to do for a while of moving your feet, doing the system. And that's when you get rewarded. So good stuff there. I think that's a major, major thing. I think a big thing also on the time factor is people think that to help all these agents, I got to spend a lot of time with them. No, it's quality over quantity. You can be effective without spending all the time with them. I just want to make sure people understand this concept. So let's go on to the third and the final person here. My homegirl, Hannah out of Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Hannah, oh my gosh, how am I going to train all these people? How do I effectively control my energy with training all of these people? Teach us something, girl. Teach us something.
Yeah. So Hannah Jacobs, again, direct to Holly Jacobs, my big sister, my partner in crime, and my dad, David Jacobs, Carlton, Kashawn, Lynn, just so grateful to be here. So number 3, how to harness our energy most effectively is to know the difference in being a guide and being a trainer. And I think that this is so important because a lot of times, I know personally, whenever I was learning how to produce and thinking about building, I was really scared of starting to build because I was just thinking about how on earth am I going to train everybody and like all of my new people and still have enough energy for me and to, do the production that I need to do. And so whenever we were just having discussions about, what that actually means to train your people, it's actually looking at it a different perspective. And so, whenever we think about a plane going on the runway, getting ready to take off, you have to have a few things for the plane to reach its destination, to actually make its goal, and which is getting up in the air and off the ground. And so, the runway has to be long enough and the momentum has to be strong enough and the plane can't stop or it's never going to get off the ground. And whenever we, we look at this in our perspective, I really think that it relates to us because 75% of the fuel that it takes for a plane to actually get up and off the ground and into the air, the right elevation, is 70% of the fuel is used during that process alone. So how can we make sure as builders and that we are effectively doing this, getting our agents off the ground and running with enough momentum, but not using 100% of our fuel? And so there are 4 differences in being a guide and a trainer. So the first difference in being a guide and a trainer, a guide shows the example and a trainer is the example. And the big thing here is that one of these gives you energy and one of these takes your energy. When you're the guide that's showing the energy, there is a compounding effect. There's energy. It's like a give and take. And the trainer, if it's all on them, then it's just them and you're just giving away your energy. So you have to be really careful. about that. And the second thing is a guide has humility and vulnerability, and a trainer has ego. It's about them. And here at Symmetry, I think we can look at everyone that we look up to that are successful in this business. I mean, you can just see the people that succeed are humble and they're vulnerable. And I've learned so much about vulnerability through Carlton and his leadership. It's not about him. And the third thing is a guide gives feedback and a trainer gives answers. And, you know, you can only give feedback whenever the work is done. So back to what Gina was saying, you know, you got to move your feet. And so we're guiding the people that are moving their feet, and there's something to give feedback for. But whenever you're just answering, you're really crippling your people for taking the struggle away from it, taking the work out of it. So feedback instead of answers. And the fourth thing, which I feel has been most important for me in my journey, is that a guide promotes community and a trainer promotes themselves. And I really believe that community is the reason that I was able to get through my learning curve and to this point where I'm really energized and ready to start building and make a run for key leader and AO. And just like a month ago, I was not in that headspace. So what really changed that for me was immersing in community. We have Nashville boot camps, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. And there's a lot of Nashville plugs in this call. I think we're getting somewhere. I think Nashville is the place to be. But it really has made such a huge difference. I've been able to meet so many amazing people. And the most impactful community experience that I've had recently is my first Symmetry trip we went on a few weeks ago with the Monteith Agency and Hierarchy. And it was so incredible just to be part of that. Me and my sisters were able to go. And I just, obviously laying out in the sun in a cabana is amazing. But what was so impactful was just a 5-minute conversation that I had at dinner one night with Marlon Faulkner and Heather, his wife, incredible people that bring such value to everyone around them. And the reason is because they're really intentional about it, really intentional. And I learned so much in just a 5-minute conversation with them because he asked me point blank, what are your goals? Hannah, what are your goals? And I just started, I said the first thing that came to my mind, and I was telling him a bunch of personal goals that I had. And he said, cool, but you haven't answered my question. What are your goals? And that, I just paused, and then our food came and I was like, thank you, Jesus. And then he said, I'm going to call you and we're going to finish this conversation. And what he doesn't know is that ever since then, that's all that's been on my mind. I didn't know what my goals were. And the thing that he was doing, he was guiding me to that. He didn't know where I was at, but that's what I needed in that moment. And I talked to my dad about that conversation and how it stuck out to me. And he said, Hannah, you know what he was doing? He was showing you how to talk to your people. And that's exactly what he was doing. And anyway, that was really impactful to me. Thank you, Marlon. You're amazing. I'm waiting for your call and I'm ready for it.
Oh, man. For those in conference call, Marlon Faulkner's phone number is 918. No, I'm just joking. That's a secret. It must be a secret. By the way, promoting community is a big thing. Promoting community is a major thing. If you're promoting yourself, if it's how I train my people, this is what I'm going to do with my people. How I'm going to recruit is this. You're in for a long walk. Been there, done that. It's this haughtiness over holiness. It's just you got to be careful about that, because are you hiring them to you, or are you hiring them to Symmetry? Is it what Symmetry can do for your people, or is it what you can do for your people? Symmetry has 3,000 agents who your agents can find somebody to relate to, maybe 100 people to relate to. But if you're putting all that weight on your shoulders, you're in for a long, 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 long run. And I would just say for yourself on this call, to answer the question of the whole topic is how do I train all my people? Like, how do I train my people? People get spazzed out. First of all, you need to understand this. This is supposed to be hard. Write that down. It's supposed to be hard. If it's easy, you're looking for something sleazy, because nothing in life is easy. And I love what Brandon was saying earlier in the call, to the builder's call. It ain't easy. It's simple, which means it's duplicatable. This is supposed to be hard. You don't wish things to be easier. You wish you to get stronger and better. And if you're looking for a shortcut, this is the shortcut. The problem with Symmetry is that it cuts you open and lets you look in the mirror at yourself. And we don't like that. We don't like the way our cellulite looks. We don't like the way our body looks. We don't like the way how we sound singing in the shower when somebody knocks on the door and goes, "Stop singing, please. You're hurting me. You're hurting the dog." This is real stuff. It cuts you open. But that's what's called feedback. You get proper feedback to sharpen yourself, to get stronger. That's what this is all about. So building a company is supposed to be hard. If it was easy, then everybody be doing it. And if everybody was doing it, then everybody be making a lot of money. And if everybody's making a lot of money, there'd be no money to be made. What would be the purpose of you? There'd be no space in the room for you to fit in. We're looking for significance over success. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for fulfillment over achievement. That's a big thing about Symmetry. This is the whole part about it when you're building a company. So how do I train my people? Number one, how you learn doesn't mean that's how they have to learn. Hopefully you learn through the system. They're going to struggle. Let them struggle. It's okay. Struggle is strength. It's not weakness. Vulnerability is power, and strength, it's a weapon. It's not weakness. Yes, you're going to struggle. If you want to write something down, I'd write this down. The biggest problem right now is not that people don't see your problems. The biggest problem is you think people don't already see them. You're going to struggle. You might as well tell the truth, because people see when the energy's off. When you get quiet, you don't reach out for help. They see the energy's off when your production drops off. They see when you become what's called a witness protection agent, and then all of a sudden you're found miraculously 4 months later and you're starting again. They see that stuff. You could stop all of that process just by being vulnerable, being open. Vulnerability is not a weakness thing. It's a foundation that we need. It's 99% of what people are looking for. It's refreshing. That's how you create more energy. If you say certain things to your maker, you're forgiven. But if you say it to man, you're free. And when you're free, watch that energy skyrocket. Watch where you go. When Hannah was talking to Marlon was asking her a direct question, looking her in the face, and Hannah's like, "I don't have the answer for this guy. Okay, what do I say? How do I say it?" The food comes. It's like, "Oh, thank you, sir. I'll take some sparkling water too," to keep that conversation going. But we need to start something else, because the spotlight's on her. That right there became a compulsive thing for her to go, "I don't want to be an agency owner," to go, "No, I want to be an agency owner. What are we doing here? I know what I want now. I know who I am now. I now know how I'm made. I now know who Symmetry is. I now see why the owners are doing what they're doing. I now want to be part of that, because now I think I found a why I want. I think I want to run with that, because having that was a lot better and more significant than who she was a week and a half ago. And I just think for all of you guys who are on the call right now, and gals who are on the call right now, is that's how you train. You don't train. You push them to community. Community is a lot stronger. You trying to do it all yourself, you're going to have a lot of weight. I appreciate all you guys taking the time out on this call today. I appreciate our guest, Timothy Reisman in Cornfield Country, Hannah Jacobs in Nash Vegas, and Gina out there in Snow Ice Bank Country in Seattle. I will pass this back over to, do you have anybody on the call? Should I pass it back to Spivey? Am I passing it back to you? Pogue, am I passing it back to you? What's going on?
Man, fantastic
All of
job,
us.
guys. Appreciate that. Text message over here in the chat, guys. My fingers are falling off, so appreciate that. As fast as I can type. The feedback, the time, and the commitment and the energy focused on putting this call together, guys. Just can't thank you enough. B-dubs?
Yeah, you're speaking my love language today, guys. I loved so much of what you shared, Hannah. I love the guide and trainer insights. And gosh, if we could just extract all the wisdom of being humble and operating in community, man, sky's the limit. So bravo. Thank you all for your time. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care, everybody.
Cheers.